the scene from The Wire with Lieutenant Daniels and his wife, and they're having dinner. I think I spoke about this in a different video, one of my earlier videos, but she says to him, the game is rigged, but you cannot lose if you do not play. Today at work, the supervisor came on site and he literally stood behind me as I was doing every single task that I did. And there were some tasks that I hadn't done before. So he was training me at the same time, sort of giving me direction on where to wire certain pieces of equipment that is a very specific thing to this job. So even if I haven't done it before on another job, it's very specific to transport and logistics and traffic control, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that was fine actually. That was okay. But there was at one point where he came and he was like, that's some civil workers I'm saying bye to them, stone masons, where he was like, oh, you had made an error on this wiring configuration from last week, and he was there explaining to me what the error was, and I was just thinking to myself, how could I have done this incorrectly? And then I thought about it and I remembered the lead installer who was giving me the information. So he gave me some information of how to do it, but he withheld certain parts, and he could go back and say, oh, I thought you would have known this and this, but he didn't give me the full information. And that guy, I don't think he's a narcissist, that lead installer, but I think he's an enabler. Like, they're all like flying monkeys and enablers for that head narcissist guy. So that's basically what it is. So he didn't give me that information, so I did that incorrectly. It was easily rectified. Like, nothing was lost, you know, no in terms of like time or money, anything was lost in terms of work. It was just a case of just rewiring it into the correct configuration so that would perform how it's supposed to. That equipment. So they did that, but the information that I would have needed to have done that correctly was withheld from me. So they gave me part of the information. So the part that I did was correct, that I had was right, and the other part was wrong because it was incomplete. Now, this is narcissists to a T. This is how they behave. And what I was saying in the last video, I was saying is as if they have a glass ball. What I meant was a crystal ball. It's like they can see the future because they are constantly studying us and they're looking for opportunities, and they're looking for they're opportunistic, but they're looking for little ways of attacking us, either directly or indirectly. Now, when I used to be in the music scene, underground sort of electronic music scene in the UK, the guy I was working with, he's a covert narcissist, and he grew up under a female, very malignant, very evil mother narcissist, and he was like the son husband. Yeah, and when we were working on music together, there's a way you have to register your tracks where you get this identification number, and you have to have this number put in on the track as metadata. And when I started music, I had no idea about this ID number and how you put it onto a track, and you have this number, your ID specific number, once you're registered, put on the track by your mastering engineer. Now, I didn't even know about this at the time, but he did. And his whole thing is like, we're a family, we're like, bruv, we're together, we're doing this thing as one, blah, blah, blah. But he did not tell me about that code and how to do it to make sure I would get my share of the royalties, excuse me. And even the mastering engineer who was mastering it had the audacity to put his number on and not ask, oh, what about my number? He just did it just like that, because they work together, these people. They work together. They work together to destroy our lives. And yeah, I had to make a quick maneuver there. They work together, and even when they're working together, they don't win. They do all these things behind our back, like in terms of like cheating, like what I talk about with my work, where they kind of kept me in one area of the work, so I'm falling behind in terms of my practical experience, and then they bring me out of nowhere, and then they start comparing me with people who've been doing the same thing every day, and me being behind, which is just like a natural thing. They start talking about my work and saying this and that. So they've made the conditions for me to fail, basically. And even then, I'm still better than them. I still hear them asking for information, asking each other, oh, is it this, is it that? And I'm just coming for the first time doing it, and I'm remembering it. He even stood behind me after he trained me on something, and he saw me do it perfectly. And he was like, I could hear him saying, yeah, that's it, to himself. Not, oh, well done, mate. Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah, you remembered it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's a lot of information you just remembered. Oh, nope. He's just down at the bottom. Yeah, because he's just waiting for that error, so he can shout up and say, oh, that's not right. Is that what I told you? No, it's not. Do it this way. I told you that way. At one point, I had to do something, and he thought something was wrong, so I had to chase something, and he came up and was like, have you not done this part yet? And when I ended up going up there and looking, the part that he was moaning about was fine. So they're just literally looking for things to like knock you straight away. But yeah, that I wanted to speak on that thing, because this happens, how they work together in the music stuff. It was even when I was living next to a guy who works for the shop that sold some of my records, and I was asking him information about how they collect the data. He did not want to tell me how they collect the data, even though it's got nothing to do with him and it's not like money that he's going to lose. He did not want to tell me. They work together. They're working against us. Look, if you're an empath watching this, there's no stopping you from getting to healing, going over after your discard, healing from whatever it is you went through. And I'm sorry about it, you had to go through that, because we all go through it. It's like they just throw us away like we're worthless, and we even believe it. We're on our knees begging these people, these liars. They walk around like that's God's gift when literally they're not. When you come back on your healing path, literally you can do anything in this world, anything, to a fantastic standard as well. The standard that you'd be doing it would be such a high standard compared to these people, these cretins, these little gremlins, these like phony copycat energy vampires. The level that you'll be able to do will literally would be fantastic. Yeah. And they will have you believing that you're not good enough, that you're the last person to be chosen on a football team at college. You know, nobody wants you. Even at college, I remember there was one time, I think, where in the trials, I was one of the only players, or maybe there was two of us, or the only that made it into the first team or second team. I can't remember what it was. And then when the uniform came, like the jumpers, the school, the training kit that had our initials on it, they hid mine. They hid it. They gave it to me like literally when the season was over. They brought it out. It had like my initials, you know, like the football jersey jumpers. Like there was a tracksuit top and bottom, and it has like your initials on it and the club badge. Yeah, they hid mine. In every level of my existence or my life, there's always been a case where people have ganged up against me. or aim to punish me, or aim to devalue me for something. And the reason, and at the time, I didn't know, when wasn't awakened, I didn't know why this was. It's obviously because of the anointing, because God's favor on my life, because of the spirit and the light that people like us carry. I work outside. People that see you, just your presence. They want to say hello to you. They want to ask you how your day is. They want to say good morning. They smile. Your energy just brightens up the whole place. And your colleagues will be looking at you like, why do you know that person? And you don't know this person from Adam, but this person wants to say hello to you. I have to make more videos about gang stalking, arachnophobia, because a lot of time I was watching a video about gang stalking, like when I'm getting gang stalked. But the thing about my gang stalking is a lot of the times when I'm driving, and the thing is, it makes you create an idea that you're not safe, or fear, or I'm on some government list. But too many occasions I'll be driving and there'll be someone tailgating me or flashing their lights behind me. And if I pull over, they drive off fast, or if I go into a different lane, they'll speed off. But they're not driving in the natural way, like they're just driving somewhere. They're literally just following me around in my van. And it's happened so many times. And I keep thinking, is it, again, you start questioning, oh, is it my driving style? Am I making a mistake here? And there's literally nothing. There's grannies with like granny sticks, with like hearing aid and like thick glasses driving cars, and nobody's following them. Here I am in my van on my peaceful way home, and there'll be cars with no lights literally following me, stalking me, tailgating, coming close, going. They haven't got any sat nav in their car. If I go right, they go right. And you could say, oh, it's paranoia. But this ain't paranoia. It's happening far too often. Street theatrics, street theatre. It's sort of a part of the gang stalking. Even if I was on a government list, or if I'm on a camera making some mistake, I'd literally do the same thing every day, like gym, work, home. Sometimes I go out and do my pastimes, my hobbies, classes, but usually I don't literally do anything that interesting or that novel for these people to be following me, to think that I'm committing any crime. They're literally harassing me. And that harassment is narcissistic. It's narcissism is in it. It's wanting me to put a foot wrong. It's wanting me to speed. It's wanting me to get into an accident for them to point the finger. And this is exactly the life of an empath, the life of a chosen one, life of a anointed person. Your own sibling would be ganging up with people to try to get you in trouble with the police. How does that work? It's how demonic these people are. Anyway, that's the video for today. Peace.